We love stories about good versus evil, but the truth is most villains don't think they're actually evil at all. They think they're justified, and that belief is what actually makes them dangerous. That idea sits at the very center of One Last Monster's story, because in real life and in fiction, everybody can fall into the trap of thinking they're the hero of their own story. And if we're not careful, that mindset can quickly turn into main character syndrome. And so it makes me think of that famous line from the rapper Ice Cube, "You gotta check yourself before you wreck yourself." Now, there will be spoilers for the One Last Monster short film in this video, so if you haven't seen it, please check the link in the description below. Thing is, bad guys almost never wake up thinking that they're going to do something wrong. They don't wake up in the morning and put on devil horns and say, "Ho ho ho, I'm the bad guy, look at me." They think they're protecting something or they're doing the right thing. Often they think they just don't have any other choice but to do what they're going to do. They can rationalize to no end. And in One Last Monster, that's where the tragedy begins in the story. Emperor Tejo believes he's justified in creating interstellar flame weapons because Adin has suffered enormously at the hand of alien invasions. From his perspective, this isn't cruelty to fight fire with fire. It's defense. It's survival. But at the same time, the aliens attacking Adin believe they're being attacked first, too. At some point, the entire universe slips into the same mindset before the short film begins. Shoot first, ask questions later. Kill or get killed. Nobody remembers exactly how this universal paranoia began. Every world out there in the stars just knows they can't afford to hesitate, to not shoot. That's why I think compelling antagonists don't really believe that they're evil for evil's sake. They're driven by a belief that their goal is morally right, even if they know their methods are flawed. A good storyteller will show you how they got there to their conclusions. But it doesn't mean that they're justifiable. And the best villains are the ones who almost convince the audience that they make sense and that they're reasonable. One of my favorite examples of this, because there's too many to name, is the 2011 movie X-Men First Class. Let's just say by the end of the film, I found it very hard not to sympathize with either Magneto or Dr. Xavier in that movie. And I felt genuinely torn. It was an amazing experience. If an audience knows that the bad guy is clearly wrong from the start, the outcome feels obvious and boring. There's no real tension throughout the story. But if an antagonist feels almost right in their thinking, suddenly the conflict feels like a real contest. Two sides, like two sports teams on the same field, each convinced that they're going to win. In sports, one team isn't necessarily morally good or morally bad, but they both have a real and equal shot to win the game. And that's what makes it exciting. And that says something about life too. Yes, there are good and bad actions, but underneath even villains is a layer of humanity, just humanity gone wrong. When you explore that and create that level in your writing, antagonists stop becoming caricatures and they start feeling real. And so that's something to think about, and that's something I'm challenging myself to think about as I create more stories. How can I make my antagonists' motivations not just clear, but understandable? Because that gives our heroes something real and dynamic and weighty to struggle against. And that ultimately, that struggle is what makes writing exciting. Thanks for watching. Please like and consider subscribing, as it really helps me. Also, please consider becoming a Patreon if you would like to support the work I'm doing creating One Last Monster. Thanks for watching and have a great day.